Welcome to Great Nova Cinema Studios, where creativity lives. And I am Will Gates, and this is Director's Cut. Quite often I get asked, man, critical thinking on set, critical thinking as a filmmaker. What is it and what does it mean to me? Like I tell all of the young aspiring filmmakers and up and coming filmmakers, man, film directing and filmmaking is a thinking man's sport. And what I mean by that, man, you always have to think of a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, because sometimes, quite often, we come out of film school and we have everything wrote out as they teach us. You know, we got our storyboards, we got our shot list. And what happens to a filmmaker or most filmmakers when things don't go accordingly? Well, off of my experience, I watched several filmmakers come to set with a shot list, you know what I mean, which isn't a bad thing to have, but what do you do when things don't go accordingly? You know, and I watched several productions, you know, come to a screeching halt, or I watched filmmakers lose it and panic because, you know, they planned on having a scene where the driver pulls up in a drop-top Porsche, but it's raining today. So what do you have to do as a filmmaker? You could either, you could reschedule and lose a film day, or you could improvise. You know what I'm saying? And quite often, me on set, I'm the master of improvising. So quite often, sometimes we may plan on shooting the scene at a currency exchange, and we can't get the currency exchange. So now that currency exchange is a pawn shop because that's what we had access to at the time. And I'm gonna tell you this, guys, when you're planning out a shot list and you have everything planned out, nobody knows that plan but you. Nobody knows that plan but you and your crew sometimes. So therefore, don't never ever be so tied to an idea that you're unwilling to compromise or make the proper adjustments or changes need be. You know, there's gonna be some times where you show up to set. One of our actors was in a bad car accident, you know, and he wasn't able to stand for this particular scene. So me and my co-director were so hell-bent on this actor standing, you know, that probably would have pushed our production back 3-4 weeks, maybe, you know what I'm saying, a month. But we were willing to compromise and improvise. So therefore, that scene, we had him sitting down, and we gave him a deck of cards. So boom, instead of you guys standing around, boom, you're gonna be sitting down and you're gonna be playing cards. And the scene worked out magical. You know what I mean? It worked out for the best. Now, granted, there'll be some times where you will have to reschedule or you can't improvise, but young filmmakers, take it from me, a guy that has directed over 1,000 music videos, over a dozen documentaries, and, you know, three feature films. You always have to come in this thing with a plan A, B, and a C, because things happen. And sometimes things happen that we don't have control over, and you have to be willing to adjust. Quite often, some things that may happen where you may get on set and you forget a battery, or you forget a lens, or something like that. Some things you can't work around, but some things you have to work around. There's times where I forgot a certain particular lens. Like, say, for instance, I have a 50 millimeter on my camera, but the shot was intended to use a 24 millimeter. So what do? Do I let the client know that? No, you don't let the client know that, because the client don't have an idea that you made this mistake. And, you know, we're all human. They make mistakes on big budget films. They make mistakes on mid-level films. They make mistakes on low budget films. It just happened. You know, it's human error. So what you do is you just adjust and you make everything. You never ever want to let the client see you sweat. Or if it's not a client, you never ever want your crew or your actors to see you sweat, because if they see you start to panic, guess what they're going to do? They're going to start to panic. And then therefore, your whole production is just, you know what I'm saying, it's going to start to fall apart. So our role as a film director, you know, a film director, film producer, executive producer, is to always keep a cool, calm, and collected stay cool, never ever let them see you panic, never let your crew know that there's something wrong, and just be a critical thinker. Critical thinking is very critical, and it's going to take you a very, 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 very far, and it's going to make you a better filmmaker being able to improvise on the spot like that, because sometimes an opportunity will present itself where you don't have the proper chance to gather a crew, a sound man, cinematographer, a producer. You may have to one-man army, and if you're able to make these type of improvisations on set or on the spot, it'll take you very far in this industry. You'll get a lot of jobs, and you'll be able to complete and do some dope things. So that's just my take on being a critical thinker. So being a filmmaker, man, is just not about the equipment you have. It's not about the lights. It's about using this right here. You got to think. You always have to be 2-3 steps ahead of the competition, 2-3 steps ahead of yourself, and you just have to, sometimes things happen that we have no control of. And that's just my take on critical thinking.